It's the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system. Planet Earth. North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM Radio Network at thenewamericanmedia.com. My name's Brian Engelman, and I appreciate all of you checking out the program. This is the beginning of the Johnny Manziel era for the Cleveland Browns. Was it their game plan all along to bring Johnny in at the bye week? Well, that's what a lot of us were thinking and saying at the beginning part of the year, in the preseason. Then, of course, Johnny's just, those. I went to college with this kid. I'm not going to name him. There are a few people in my close circle. I don't even need to wink or nod or give you a hint. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But in college, there's this guy. Friend with this guy. Friends with my other friends of this guy. And I'll tell you what, it was just, this person was a magnet. When they were out and you were at the club, you were at the bar, the fight broke out right around you. Right around this guy. It happened right there. Go on 100 rides. This will be the one time you get pulled over. You get stopped at the border. I mean, down the list, it's like wherever problems exist, this person is a black hole sucking people into more drama. And let's face it, that's what Johnny Manziel is. What was it, over the summer? He threw a water bottle at a heckling fan at a golf tournament. I mean, we all know we all know that's not a good idea. And I'm trying to put myself back in the mindset of the 20-year-old kid, the 21-year-old, the 22-year-old, the 23-year-old. I'm trying to put myself back into that, and I get it. I had a lot of growing up to do. I mean, come on, don't we all? That's part of the process of getting out of college and what have you. Getting out of the home, going to college, rather. Growing up, learning to become a young woman or a young man, that process. And we have a lot of growing up to do. There's lots of mistakes that are made. There are lots of decisions we'd like to have back. But Johnny Manziel just kind of seems to be one of these guys where wherever he goes, he's a black hole sucking in problems. Johnny Manziel, he's supposed to be the starter. He's had a couple games this year to play. He's shown us a few things, and he's definitely shown a way better command of the system, the process. He was just a deer in headlights last year. Like, he really didn't learn the playbook. And it's a lot to take in. Can we be honest about that? There are very few people that are able to make that transition seamlessly, let alone somebody with Johnny Manziel's skills. At Texas A&M, he was a madman back there, won a damn Heisman. You don't accidentally win a Heisman. The boy has skills, but he's cocky, and he's always had money, and he's been pampered and spoiled for a very long time. Last year was his come-to-Jesus humbling moment, and he said, you know what, I'm going to check myself into rehab because this other partying that I'm doing, it's getting in the way of my job, and I'd kind of like to stay in this job for a while. Credit the man. Good stuff. But then he's flying down the right-hand side of the freeway. First of all, you'll get yourself killed that way. Actually, that's... we know somebody close to us that had something similar happen. But his girlfriend's throwing his wallet out the window and trying to jump out of a car moving 90 miles an hour on the freeway. The cops are getting called. NFL's investigating. Wherever he goes, this drama is surrounding him. So can you really build a franchise around someone like that? Once again, I had a lot of growing up to do in my teens, in my 20s. Oh, hell, I probably still have a lot of growing up to do as well right now. But People can eventually get it, and there are some people that say this kid is never going to get it. Never going to get it, and it ain't worth the time. You know, it's like dating somebody and trying to change them. Oh, they'll settle down if we just blah, blah. Uh-huh. Well, good luck. Good luck. But that's what we have with Johnny Manziel. The era has begun. He's got the bye week, and then he's got a chance to prove himself. So we're going to talk about that with former NBA scout and current NBA consultant Zak Baris coming up on the program here in just a second. Ohio State Buckeyes, the season finally starts for them today. 5 games, hopefully, left in the season. Michigan State, and then Michigan, and then a Big Ten champion, and then the first round of the playoffs, and then another national title. This is it. You know, this is what we've been working all year to do. Still undefeated. If the playoffs started today, we'd be in. We won it last year. Haven't lost since what, the second or third game last year, Virginia Tech. I really got to look that one up. I keep confusing if it's the second or third game. I feel like it's the second game. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Buckeyes because it starts today. Very excited about that. What else going on? I don't know. Francisco Lindor? The Cavaliers. I don't know. A little bit of a panic mode, losing 3 games. No big. Oh, who cares? Well, look at the Warriors. Look what they're doing out there. We're stacking ourselves up against them because they won it last year and they're the team to beat. Do we match up with that right now? No, we don't. And yes, we got a lot of injuries. We'll talk about that. But regardless, it's a very, very good time to be a Cleveland sports fan. Even though the Browns try to bring us down, the Buckeyes remind us right down Route 71 of how a football franchise is supposed to be run. Look over the decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. You'll find very few low moments. Or extended low moments, rather. It's been a very good to good, successful program, and sometimes a great, top-notch, nobody better in the nation than us program. So, that's the hope that we can turn the Browns into that. But let's get Zak Baris into the program right now. Real quick, check out the homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Subscribe, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. And on our homepage at thenewamericanmedia.com is our Facebook link on the right-hand side, so join us. And if you're not in this group yet, there's a group you can request. It's called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Request to join the group. And our admins, our awesome administrators, huge shout out to the awesome administrators of the page. But yeah, as long as we can click on your link when you raise your hand and go, "Hi, can I come in?" Your password is to have some sort of easily identifiable something or other that you care about the Indians, Cavs, Browns, or Buckeyes. Have a picture, something you've shared. Talk about them. Don't make us guess. Is this person a Cleveland fan, or is it just one person with no mutual friends and they've only posted once since 2012? Or they created their profile this week. Oh, they have 7 friends. No, don't be that person. But as long as we can confirm that you are who you say you are, we'll bring you into the Unhappy Hour Sports Show group. All right, let's get Zach into the program and talk about some of these things, shall we? Well, trying to. See, when you type the name, it's supposed to allow you. There we go. Let's try that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the whole rig has been a little glitchy these days. But it's okay. Always ghosts in the machine to deal with. No biggie.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Living the dream, Zach. How are you doing, sir? You're on the road. Let me guess. You're on the road.
Yeah, I just got back from D.C. actually last night.
What was that? What was that all about? Fun stuff or work stuff?
Yeah, I had a conference down there, but it was a lot of fun. I had a great trip.
Excellent.
Yeah, good way to celebrate the birthday. Good way to kick off the birthday week.
Oh, when is the actual birthday?
Tomorrow. And the Browns will now lose on my birthday, so I'm kind of happy.
I was just going to say, you beat me to it. Yes.
What more can I ask for? I asked for the Browns not to lose on my birthday. The NFL gives them a bye week.
Man, yeah, that's better than having a game and rolling the dice. Nah, I'm good. Those odds don't turn up as well in my favor. That's fantastic. Well, happy early birthday, Mr. Barris.
Thank you.
You know, a few things we want to talk about led the show here. I definitely want to talk about the Cavaliers, and that is in your wheelhouse, talking about the Warriors and, the Cavs' injuries and some of those things. We'll get to that in a second because that's kind of your bread and butter. But at the beginning of the season right now, college basketball is kicking off. just for the people that haven't really had a chance to understand your background and where you're coming from, just give us an overview and reminder of how you got going in college basketball, what the beginning of the season normally means to you, because you've had,
The beginning of the season, out of conference play is actually some of the most important basketball. That's where everything, conference play happens later in the year. Unlike college, like college football, you see a few big games early on, some big out-of-conference games. But basketball, you see matchups like Kentucky, Kansas, Ohio State, Duke, Wisconsin, UCLA, those types of matchups. Not saying actual ones. But, the beginning of the season really, it's tough for me now, with the Cavaliers being so good again, being preoccupied with football most of the time. I'm watching college basketball right now. I always love the beginning of college basketball. It's always great. But even when I watch it, I'm still not in college basketball mode until, late December, because just, football is going on. So, so it does a little bit for me, but, I still love college basketball.
Yeah, for me, I'll say that, with football being my number one sport, of course, a huge Mark Price, Cleveland Cavaliers fan, huge Cleveland Indians fan. I go through my phases, but just the way that the seasons are laid out, because as basketball's gearing up for the playoffs, spring training kicks in. It's fantastic and you're excited, but you're all in basketball mode. And yeah, for me, I am just so zoned in on college football and NFL football. Basketball for me kind of kicks in a lot closer to March Madness,
Yeah.
That's where I come from. But, it's the beginning of the year, and we're going to table this, and we're going to get back to some more basketball in a second then. And we're going to talk about the Cavs, their injuries, the Warriors, what we see so far in the young season. Because, every week we get more of the storyline becomes more clear. That's how I like this. But let's talk about the Johnny Manziel era in Cleveland. Zach, do you feel like this could have been the Browns' plan all along? We heard it before, that we were going to wait until the bye week and bring Johnny in, and this is kind of exactly what we have.
I think Mike Pettin, I don't think really Mike Pettin has a choice. I think Pettin at this point, I think he wants to win. But, McCown is so beat up. I just feel bad for the guy. And, you really need to see what you have in Johnny Manziel. Either you're going to go out there, you're going to win 3 or 4 games, and finish the year at 5, 6, and 5 and 10, 5 and 11, 6 and 10, and you have your quarterback for the future. Or the team's going to go 2 and 14, 3 and 13. Realize Manziel's not the answer that you need to draft. Paxton, the kid out of Memphis, or you're going to be drafting a guy like Jared Goff out of Cal.
Well, before we get to the guys that we might be able to draft, we could also lose every one of these games as long as Johnny shows progress, doesn't make stupid mistakes, he turns into a consistent leader.
If they lose every single one of these games, I don't think he's the quarterback in the future.
Well, but the thing is, there are so many problems on the Browns team right now. I feel like as long as Johnny looks decent and making decent decisions, the defense is losing us the games.
19 points in his last 2 starts. To me, I don't care what his numbers were, they don't put points on the board, which is red flag number 1 for me. And when you have franchise signal callers coming up in a draft, you take one. I think the Browns would be very foolish to let Manziel sit there if they're putting up 9, 15 points a game, to sit there and call him their quarterback of the future. Very stupid.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm not running the Browns.
Well, like you could have done it much worse. No, but that you're absolutely right. That is the question to take. The question that
Brian,
we need to decide.
He threw for 360 yards last week. How many points do we have to show for it? 9 freaking points.
Okay, well, no, listen, that's true, but they took a touchdown off the board
on a 1-inch. Benjamin touchdown that he dropped. 16 points. Big deal.
Well, Johnny scrambled for the touchdown that got pulled off the board. I cheered for 2 touchdowns.
It wasn't a touchdown. It got pulled away.
I know, by an inch.
It was a holding call.
I know. I get that. And I guess for me, it's just, Peyton Manning, there's a lot of quarterbacks that have started off not with a bang, but with a mighty whimper. But the question being, are they the person that we can build this around? And, the Browns do have to figure that out. Are there any quarterbacks that you're really seeing right now? You started mentioning Memphis and some of these other schools with decent quarterbacks. Bowling Green, Falcons as a dark horse, Ben Roethlisberger kind of guy as well. What do you make of the crop of quarterbacks that are sitting there?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have not watched a lot of Memphis football this year.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit.
But I'm being honest, though. Jared Goff looks good. I don't work in football. I watch a lot of college football. I just don't get around to watching Memphis.
Yeah.
Eventually I'll wind up seeing more of these kids. I will, just because I wind up watching more, when the Senior Bowl comes on, that kind of stuff. Or bowl game season, it's different.
But Andrew Luck, we know that Andrew Luck was coming from a pro-style system in Stanford. We know that he said, hey, this could be potentially the most ready quarterback.
A lot of Matt Ryan.
Say that again?
Jared Goff from Cal reminds me a lot of Matt Ryan from what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, and that's what people are trying to figure out, though. Is there a more surefire number one pick? Some years you can draft LeBron James, and other years you get Anthony Bennett. So, certain drafts are certain ways.
It's all the luck of the draw. The Browns missed out on, Cam Newton. They missed out on, Andrew Luck. They missed out on a lot of guys, and not every year. The one year where they were close, they got stuck with Mark Sanchez, so they traded to the Jets.
Well, and we also missed on Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater, who, those teams are competitive. They look like they're making a lot of progress, and they're led by people that were taken in the same draft.
That was their own wrongdoing because, they brought in Alex Shiner, a guy like Alex Shiner, to increase the value of this football team. He's done that, but at the same time, they still haven't put on a winner. He's apparently is making football decisions. They are a train wreck.
Yeah, you need a GM to be doing that. You need a GM to be doing that. And the conversations are out there. Nobody really knows who the final decision maker is on the Cleveland Browns. They don't know who has that authority, and that's a bad scene, man. That just reeks of dysfunction from absolute top to bottom. So, I don't know where we go with that. If you're in charge of the Browns for a day, let's just say you now own the team. Your name is Jimmy Haslam. What do you look around you and do about your head coach, your GM, your team president? And your quarterback of the future, for that matter? How do you evaluate?
Fire everyone and start clean. They depleted the talent in this football team. I don't even know how that's possible. You had nothing coming in with a bunch of guys in their low to mid-20s, and they're gone. Jabal Sheard's gone. T.J. Ward is gone. Dante Whitner looks like you can't play football anymore. What the hell happened? You got rid of your young guys who were winning, who were good. You got rid of good young players, and now look what you have. You got a piece of crap football team. You neglect the wide receiver position. You got guys that can't block. You have a great offensive line, but your receivers and tight ends are the worst blockers in the league.
And your offensive line coach was fired for domestic violence earlier this year.
Their offensive line, according to Pro Football Focus, has been number 2 in the NFL. It's the receivers and the tight ends are the worst, and the fullback.
It's top to bottom. Even Andy Lee isn't having an amazing year. It's a difficult scene. I can say on the bye weeks, I get to take a deep breath because I actually posed this question, Zach. I did a really interesting program yesterday you might want to check out on our Agree to Disagree show. I had my uncle. He's a Baptist pastor, and he's also a former broadcaster in sports and politics. So he was on. I had my pastor uncle on, along with Issa Hajj, representing the Islamic faith, and we kind of had this back and forth religious, spiritual, terrorist, U.S. intervention in foreign policy, Israeli-Palestinian conversation for 3.5 hours. It was awesome. But I kind of led the program yesterday saying, Issa, what do you think is more difficult in 2015? Having to defend Islam or trying to be a rabid Cleveland Browns fan? So that's kind of how we started the show, trying to figure out, how hard is it trying to root for this lousy dumpster fire of a football team year in and year out, to the point where it's like we get to take a deep breath and look forward to these cherished bye weeks where at least we're not going to lose this week.
We don't have to lose next Sunday either.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, man, my whole life has just changed. I like this. Do you like when you have football on every Thursday? Do you like it on the Mondays? Do you like it?
I do, because it's on TV, and I do watch it. I do tune into it. Maybe not for the whole game, but I turn into it. If the Browns are playing, I watch the whole game. But it's to the point where it's just so draining. Having your team already out of it with 8 losses in mid-November the pain is excruciating. It's just I just don't care anymore. I still watch them, but I have no emotion when watching the game. I don't even get upset.
I know.
Sad.
It's pathetic, and we got to talk about it. I talked to Brandon. He's a regular guest on our Strictly Browns shows and the Unhappy Hour since the beginning. And, this time of year, he's just like, man, I cannot keep doing this. I got to disconnect from it. It is so upsetting. It is so deflating. He said this morning, he goes, "You're a better man than me." He's like, "I don't want to get in. I'd probably be too negative." I'm like, there's no such thing when you're a Browns fan as far as being too negative. You're just being realistic. But there's a lot of stuff to be excited about, Zach. The Cleveland Cavaliers we can get to in a second. But did you have thoughts, about the Buckeyes, undefeated?
Let's hope they win today. That's all I can say. I think they're going to win it today.
I think so too. Interesting stat. It was showing ESPN. There's this little thing on Twitter. We sent it out at American_media_. And by the way, follow Zach on Twitter at Zak Baris. That's ZBARIS. Tweet him directly questions about the show that you might have. But there was an interesting thing that ESPN put out where it just showed a football field, and it showed the football like Michigan State wins, Ohio State wins, and it showed over the past few years this game has gone back and forth and back and forth and back, and
except last year it did, and then Ohio State just pulled away.
Yeah, and
I was in Vegas last year for that game, going nuts. It was a great game.
Oh yeah, it was.
We took a shot every time a good play happened last year at a bachelor party.
Oh.
So it was a rough night. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah. Now, if that were a Browns game, you guys would have been in church. You'd have been stone sober. Hey, every time the Browns have a great play, let's do a shot. You got crickets and tumbleweed blowing in the background of your lame bachelor party. I could see it now.
It's an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Just every time the Browns do something good, take a shot. Wind up coming out of there with nothing.
The degenerate. Yeah, I love it. No, but, that's what we have going on. I feel like the regular season actually starts today. It's Michigan State, then Michigan, then a Big Ten championship, and then hopefully 2 playoff games to win the title. Aside from not looking all that great for most of the season at quarterback, that position's kind of been a letdown. You know what? We're in great position, just as good as anybody else in the nation. We won it all last year. I trust in the coaching staff to get the kids prepared. I trust in the talent on the team. I trust in the tradition. And it's like, you know what? I love the Buckeyes right now. I love our shot. I love our chances, and I'm really looking forward to the game. And we can steer that. Do you have any thoughts on the Cleveland Indians, by the way? Francisco Lindor, anything moving past them?
Nothing.
Moving on. Cleveland Cavaliers. Panic mode. The Cavs have lost 3 games, and the Warriors look like they're playing their entire game in NBA Jam on fire.
Well, here's the difference. The Cavaliers have not been healthy at all. Between J.R. Smith and his, I'm not even going to get into the off-the-court stuff, so don't even ask.
But I want to ask. I love the gossip.
No, I'm not getting into that with J.R. Until I find out what happens, I'm not getting into it. I'm not making any assumptions.
All right.
But J.R. hasn't been healthy. Shumpert's been out. Kyrie's been out. Mo Williams has been hurt. This team has just not been healthy. Fairjaw's finally getting back in his stride. Mozgov's been hurt. Just let this team get healthy. Let them coast, and they will take off. Trust me, you'll see a good 15-game winning streak from this team.
Yeah, I would believe that. It's very nice seeing Andy back. He's actually. Now, he's not going to be the Andy that he used to be, but he's a version of that. He's a smarter, more restrained, less wild thing version of that with the mid-range jumpers and the...
Well, I think he knows he needs to be healthy this year, so he can't play, all crazy until the playoffs happen. That's when you throw your body on the line.
Right. Yeah, you turn into the Tasmanian devil when it counts, not against the Milwaukee Bucks and double overtime in November. But I'll tell you, hey, those Bucks, I don't know if you got a chance to watch both those games, but I'm pretty impressed. They look pretty good.
I did. They're a good team.
Yeah. Where would you re-rank the Milwaukee Bucks in the East right now? Do you think that they're proving?
No, I think I had them at 4 or 5 in the East. I didn't have them low.
Okay. Well, some people are asking the
They're
question.
still a couple years away from really being a powerhouse, though.
Well,
I think they're 2 years away from becoming really, really good.
Well, some people are saying they might be the number 2 team in the conference.
They might be. I just don't have them there yet. I think they will be in about a year or two.
Well,
I still think they don't really have an answer at point guard. I don't love Michael Carter-Williams.
Yeah. But Jason Kidd, coming from playing that position, he's got him kind of locked in. Just like that's kind of what Jason Kidd does. He goes places and the team performs. with precision, unlike the Browns, where it's penalty after penalty after penalty after dumb shooting yourself in the foot decision. That reeks of bad coaching and bad preparation. Jason Kidd's team seem to usually perform pretty well, just like Urban Meyer. So I don't know. Maybe he can get some more, a little bit of an elevated performance out of the point guard position with a little bit more time. But what do you make of the Golden State Warriors? I mean, it like I said, it seems like they're playing NBA Jam on fire.
I mean, they're a great team with Draymond playing center. Nobody knows how to guard him. The only team that can really stop Draymond playing center is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Explain why.
When you match up Tristan on him, that's it. And that's why I think the Cavaliers are such a good matchup against Golden State. They can match them at depth. They can match them at talent. And, in the starting lineup, I think they're the only team in the league that really can.
Well, explain what putting Tristan on him does. When Tristan goes on Draymond, explain what happens.
Because you're putting two undersized guys on each other, and when Tristan, clogs up the offensive paint, he out-rebounded Draymond throughout the series last year in the Golden State series. He was so much better than Draymond on the offensive boards, created so many extra possessions for the Cavs. That's why I think the Cavaliers are a very good matchup against Golden State. I don't care if Golden State goes 77-5 and the Cavaliers win 60 games. Trust me, I think Cleveland can beat them this year, and I think if Cleveland's healthy, they will beat them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Clippers can't really get their traction going. I don't know. I mean, we've had this conversation on the Unhappy Hour group on Facebook. If you guys haven't requested for it, it's the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. It's just constant conversations about these, but. Just trying to figure out what's going on there. That's what we're doing. I don't know. What do you think, Zach?
About what?
Oh, I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna go back because I didn't write it down as a note. What the hell were we just talking about? Tristan Thompson. We were talking about it in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show.
And then you mentioned something. I'm just totally confused. But just getting back to the Cavs, when this team is fully healthy come March, and I mean that's when they start gelling, playing together, and you get these guys back playing with each other for a couple months at a time, you're going to see this team start plowing other teams.
I'm sure hoping that that's what's going to happen, and the injuries with the Cavs, it is significant. We are missing, and let's put the J.R. Smith thing on the side because we don't even know what's going on there. It doesn't seem like much, but just hearing the story makes me believe there might be something, kind of like Manziel on the freeway. Either way, there are injury problems with this team, and it's causing us to really not have a chance to gel. But, in the meantime, Tristan is continuing his development with LeBron James. This is only year 2. They're getting some good work in. Dellavedova is getting some.
Kick off until middle of year 2.
Well, Dellavedova is getting a lot of work in too. They brought Mo Williams, so Delly didn't have to be last year's playoffs Delly with those minutes. But guess what? Now he's used to it, and he's got to do it because Mo Williams is down. He's getting good work in. Varejão's coming back from the injury. You got, unfortunately Mozgov and whatever. But this team is checking off some accomplishments as far as things that they're improving on. But yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating to not see the full lineup out there. Very frustrating to not see the full lineup out there with the Cavs.
Oh yeah, it's very frustrating. But what they're doing is incredible right now, playing as well as they are. So.
Well, man, I wish I could remember that conversation that we were having in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show group because I wanted to get back to it, but I have no idea. The thought totally escaped. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end the radio show, Zach, and then I'm going to go, oh, damn it, that's what it was. I totally forgot. I'll have to go back and listen and see what that was. But anyhow, no, it's great having LeBron back. It's great having the Cavaliers relevant again. It seems like there's a lot of good up-and-coming talent. Hell, the Pelicans just beat the Spurs. Go figure this league. Any other big storylines you've been following? Things that have impressed you?
I don't think there's anything else that's that big.
Yeah, more of the same. And every week we all get a chance to consume more of this team this season. The Cavs and the rest of the league, and we'll watch the injuries and we'll watch how these people heal up on the Cavs. That's what I'm going to say. That we're going to watch the healing, And we'll talk again about this soon. But for now, Zach, this is the overview. These are the highlights. It's Johnny time. It's Buckeye time. Cavs are just kind of laying in wait, and the Warriors are showing off and doing their Harlem Globetrotters tour as world champions. But it's a long grind. November does not equate necessarily to a title in June. So
we're still in mid-November, so we've got a long way to go.
Absolutely. But hey, man, I'll let you get going this afternoon. I appreciate your time. Sure thing, buddy. You have a great weekend. We'll talk again soon. And for everybody out there in the TNAM radio network, hey, let me play this song for you again. This is The Fall. This is by Elevated Tracks, 2015. Elevated Tracks is my brother, Chris Engelman. He started off as the percussionist in Twist of Nothing, in the band that I was in college. Well, actually, maybe he was playing a little bit with us in high school. But anyway, then he played. Then he was our DJ Search, and then he was a guitar player when I was the drummer, and then he would also play the drums, and I would play guitar and sing. But this is called The Fall by Elevated Tracks. He's the one that makes almost all the music that you hear, unless it's a full band, and that's likely our band. But anyway, I digress. Special thanks to Zak Baris on Twitter. He's at ZBaris. That's ZBARIS. Check him out. Check out thenewamericanmedia.com. On the right-hand side, TNAM Radio. That's where you click play to listen live. Underneath that is Facebook feed. Like us there. And on Twitter, we're at American_media_. So I say I appreciate you. I love you. Go Cavs. Go Browns. Go Buckeyes. And peace.
And this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is the NewAmericanMedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. There are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets, come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats. They know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. What doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.